Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on the Wavy Ridge Crochet Blanket featuring Bernat Blanket, and this you really cannot see the design in this very well, but the design is actually quite amazing and it's really quite easy to be able to maintain. Today's pattern I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm also going to show you how to change the size if you would like to make it different. Now this pattern is showcasing at 46 inches by 60 inches, which is a generous length of blanket. But if you would like to change the size, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So grab your 8mm size L crochet hook and your Bernat blanket and let's get going. You will notice on the back of the pattern on page number 2 that there is a diagram, and you're going to notice that there's 2 repeat rows, and you're going to notice that there is crossovers as we do these, so there's going to be trebles that crisscross across each other. It's really kind of a nice idea. It's kind of a cable look. If you use solid color yarn you'll probably see it more than you can see it on this particular project. So what you're going to have is that you have a small swatch just shown here, but if you would like to change the size of this, all you have to do is chain in multiples of 6 and then keep going 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and then once you're satisfied add 4, and then you'll have the proper balance. And if you would like to change the size of this particular afghan, even make it into a kid size, you can do so by following the multiples. So let's begin. I'm going to do multiples for a small swatch just to show you how it's done, but if you'd like to do the pattern just follow the number of chains to begin. So let's create a slip knot. If you'd like to do the pattern as written, it is chaining of 94, and if you'd like to do a multiple of changing the size, it's multiples of 6. I'm going to do a small swatch with you today. So I'm going to chain in multiples of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then I'm going to do it again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to be satisfied with my length now, so I'm just going to add 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's begin, and your chain will obviously be longer if you're matching to doing what was in the blanket. So let's begin. The first row is the setup row to get everything going, and what you're going to do then is 4 chain from the hook. So count it back. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go to the 4th chain and I want you to double crochet, and I want you to double crochet in each of the chains all the way back to the very start of where you began. So just double crochet in each one of the chains going back to where you'd come from. So I'll see you there in just a moment. So once you get to the end of your chain, just turn around, and now we're going to begin row number 2. So the repeat pattern on this is row number 3 and 4, and the reason for it is that row number 2 is really getting the pattern established for you. So you're going to start up and you're going to chain up 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and the next one always, so the edges will always have 2 double crochets in a row. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So moving to the next stitch, you're going to double crochet. So what you're going to do now is that you're going to skip the next 2, so 1 and 2, and go to the 3rd, and you want to do a treble. So wrap that hook twice, and then going into the 3rd, pull through, and then pull through 2, 2, and 2, and this is going to cause the stitch to lie over like this. Now you're going to do it one more time into the stitch just after that. So just wrap twice, okay, and you're going to treble into that other one, and now you have to go back and fill in the ones that you had missed. Okay, so to do that is just wrap the hook, okay, and just shift it in behind and get that stitch, that the first one. See that there's 2, so just get that first one, okay, so it's the furthest one away, and treble into that one. Okay, so you're coming from behind, and then you'll do it one more time. So wrap, and now you're gonna go to the other one that you had skipped, so it's the second one that's closest to your other ones, and so therefore you just created the crisscross using treble like so. Okay, so now the next 2 are just straight double crochet, and that's your repeat going all the way across like so. Okay, so let's do it again. So we're gonna do another crisscross treble kind of idea. So wrap the hook twice, skip over 2, go to the 3rd like so. Do it one more time. So wrap it twice, go to the next one, and so you keep doing the same thing going all the way across your row. I just have a smaller sample today. So now you just skipped over 2, so you're gonna go to the first one that you had skipped and just move it so you can access it from behind. And then do it again to the other one that you had skipped. Now it gets a little awkward when you're first doing it for the very first time, these kind of stitches, but as a experienced crocheter like I am, it's not really a big deal. So you end up with these beautiful crisscrosses that show up. So the final 2 stitches in your row, once you get all the way to the end, will just be a straight double crochet. Just like that. Isn't that neat? So let's turn our work and go for row number 3. So let's turn our work and go for row number 3. So row number 3 is really just kind of what we've already know how to do. It's just really quite simple. And so you're gonna chain up 2, or sorry, chain up 3. That's your double crochet in the side. You're gonna double crochet the next one. So there'll always be 2 double crochets that separate all of these pieces from each other. So now you're going to do your crossover, okay? So now you're gonna come over to the very first one, like so. Okay, so you skipped over 2, you went over to the 3rd, and then you do the next one, like so. Now if you want a really kind of a cool ridge, you have a choice. You can either go like this and come it from the back, okay? Or what you can just do is, if you're really careful, just access it from the front, and this will make those ridges look like they're coming from the front side of it. So if you do it from the front, just move things out of the way in order for you to see it, okay? And then you do it again to the other one that you skipped. It takes a little bit of getting used to if you do it that way, but there is a definite difference of the way that it will appear versus one versus the other. So what can happen is then you can have these ridges coming up on the front, and it will, same thing will happen on the back, where it'll look like it's zigzagging all the way up. If you go it from the back side, what happens is that you end up with ridges that all look like they're in the same direction. So let's continue along. So the next 2 are double crochets. Okay, so let's do a crisscross. So the first one is just coming over straight over. So that's not really your decision power on how you make those look. It's the second time that you do it is making it. So if you do it from the other side, what's gonna happen is that this one will pop out like this one does. But if you come at it from the front, okay, so wrap going into the first one you skipped, just manipulate it so that you can get access to it, is that you can continue those ridges all the way up. And then do the second one. It's easier to access them from behind than it is the front, but the look is completely different. So then the last 2, once you get all the way to the other side, is just gonna be straight 2 double crochets into the final 2. Do you see that? So do you see that it's kind of like a chevron shape? So it wouldn't be like that if you accessed it from the back, and it will appear like that on the other side too. So let's turn our work and do the next row. So the next row is very simple, just chain up 3. Okay, the next one is a double crochet. So this one here is that you're going to treble and skip 2, go to the 3rd. And this side, when you're going to do this one, I would keep those other trebles on the back side of the project. I think it says that in the project too, by the way. So I'd keep it on the back side to keep these ridges continuing to go up, so then when you access these ones, access it from the back. So every other row, what I would do is access it from the back like I am right now, and then the other row access it from the front in order to keep those ridges moving forward up on the front side of the project, and it will be double-sided really, because it will work out. Do you see that? See, now it just kept it going. So the next 2 are just straight double crochet, and then cross over again. So skipping 2, going into the 3rd, okay, and then you're gonna go this side, you're gonna go to the back. So just watch where those ridges are, and then you can make an informed decision. And you can test it for yourself if you prefer it to look the other way versus looking like ridges that travel up. It's up to you. Either way, you're gonna get a cabling kind of idea. So then the last 2 are just double crochet. So I'm just gonna turn one more time just to make sure you have this pattern in check. Okay, so do you see that? So let's turn our work. So when we go to start this one, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, coming into the first one, double crochet. Okay, so then I skipped, gonna treble, skip 2, go to the third, do the next one, and now I come back. So I can see that the ridges are over here. Do you see how it's on the front side? So if I go on the front side, I can keep that going. So just access it from the front. Just gotta move things out of the way so you can physically see it, or just trust in yourself that you're getting the right stitch. It's not hard, it's just camera angle is probably not the best for you today. I did these kind of stitches when I was a kid, and it was really kind of tough when I was like 14. But you know, as I've learned other stitches and stuff, I've learned to trust in myself to know where to go. So it might require you to do some practice. So by keeping that one in the front, I continue the zigzag going straight up just like you see, and then I do it again. So just skipping over. I'm just gonna show you what it would look like if I wasn't gonna honor that. I'm just gonna go from the back side and I'll show you what it looks like. So if I go from the back side every time, instead you continue the same stitch every row instead, what happens is that the rails will, it will still look great, but the rails will all look like they're in sync. So do you see this? See, it's going over. This one looks like it's going over too, instead of zigzagging. So that's the difference of the wave kind of idea. So in order to keep it in balance, you just got to watch this wave and just make the informed decision that every other row is from the front in order to keep those ridges cutting out, going up nicely, just like you see. And that's why there's 2 different rows on this blanket instead of 1, because technically if there was 1, then you'll have it just the way that I just showed you. So the very final 2 will be just 2 double crochets. Sorry, just 1 into each, and that's how you would do this. So it's a really kind of a nice look. It's nice and textured. It's actually quite thick, and you can see it turns out really quite neat as well. So this is the Wave Ridge crochet blanket featuring Bernat Blanket. It's really quite an easy pattern. Just got to get used to it. And until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of Yarnspirations as well as the crochetcrowd.com. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.